What if the man who once captured Amy's heart and built a future with her suddenly walked back into Heartland in season 19? Imagine the shock, the terrors, and the questions that would rise if Ty Borden returned after all these years. For fans who have carried his memory since season 14, this would not just be a twist in the story, it would be an emotional storm that changes everything for Amy and her daughter Lindy. Ty Borden's story is one of the most unforgettable parts of Heartland. From the moment he first appeared, he wasn't just another character. He was a symbol of redemption, growth, and the power of second chances. Ty came into the series as a troubled young man, carrying the weight of his mistakes and a difficult past. But over time, fans watched him transform through his bond with horses, his work on the ranch, and most importantly, his relationship with Amy. Their connection was not rushed or forced. It was built slowly with trust, understanding, and a love for the land and animals around them. This made their romance one of the most authentic and inspiring relationships in television dramas. When Amy and Ty finally built a life together, it felt like the reward of years of watching them grow. Their marriage, their daughter Lindy, and the future they imagined together gave the show a sense of warmth and stability. For many viewers, Amy and Ty were not just characters, they were proof that love, no matter how broken the past, could heal and create something lasting. That is why Ty's sudden exit in season 14 left fans devastated. His passing wasn't just the loss of a character. It felt like the breaking of the show's heart. Since then, Amy's story has shifted. She became a widow and a single mother, trying to find balance between raising Lindy and managing the ranch. It showed her strength, her resilience, and her ability to move forward despite her pain. But no matter how strong Amy appears, the absence of Ty is always present in every storyline, every quiet moment, and every glance toward Lindy. For Lindy, who lost her father so young, his memory is carried through Amy's stories and the family's efforts to keep his spirit alive. Now imagine season 19 daring to bring Ty back. His return would not only shock the audience, but also challenge the very foundation of Amy's journey since his departure. Would the years of healing, independence, and growth be undone? Or would his return offer something deeper like closure, a chance to mend old wounds, or even a way for Lindy to finally know her father beyond stories and pictures? The possibilities are endless, and each one carries a heavy emotional weight. For fans, the dream of Ty's comeback is not just about nostalgia. It is about seeing Amy's story come full circle. Even if his return happened in a symbolic way through dreams, flashbacks, or even Amy guiding Lindy with lessons Ty once shared, it would still carry deep meaning. It would remind everyone that love does not vanish, even when someone is gone. Instead, it stays alive in the choices we make, in the family we raise, and in the memories we hold close. Ty Borden is more than a character who left too soon. He is a part of Heartland's soul. Season 19, with its promise of new directions, could use his presence, whether real or symbolic, to remind us of the roots that made the show so powerful. And for Amy and Lindy, his return would not just be about the past. It would shape their future in ways no one could predict. The thought of Ty Borden returning to Heartland in season 19 feels almost impossible. Yet it's exactly this impossibility that makes it so powerful to imagine. His absence has been the biggest wound in the show's history. But if there was ever a moment to bring him back, whether literally or symbolically, season 19 would be that chance. The story could explore multiple paths, each one carrying its own sense of shock, emotion, and transformation. For Amy and Lindy, one path is the most daring of all: Ty physically returning, alive against all odds. Maybe the writers could craft a twist explaining that his death was never final. Perhaps he was lost, missing, or trapped in circumstances beyond his control, leading to years of silence. The reveal of his survival would shake Heartland Ranch to its core. Imagine Amy's face when she first sees him, a man she thought she lost forever standing in front of her again. It would be a moment that redefines heartbreak, joy, and disbelief all at once. Lindy, who only knew her father through stories, would suddenly be faced with the living reality of the man she had spent her life imagining. This version of Ty's return would give fans the emotional jolt of a lifetime, forcing every character to question what they believed about love, loss, and destiny. Another possible version of Ty's return is less literal, but no less meaningful. He could appear through flashbacks, visions, or dreams that carry important lessons for Amy and Lindy. Perhaps Amy finds herself struggling with a major decision. And in her dreams, Ty speaks to her not as a ghost, but as the man she once knew, reminding her of the values they built their life upon. These scenes could be deeply symbolic, offering Amy a form of closure and reminding the audience that the people we love never truly leave us. For Lindy, it could be a way of meeting her father in an emotional, heartfelt way, giving her something more than stories and photographs to connect with. Symbolic or not, his presence would leave a lasting mark on their journey. There is also the possibility of Ty's spirit returning through Lindy herself. Children often carry the traits of their parents, and as Lindy grows, fans might see Ty's mannerisms, his love for animals, his quiet strength, and his kindness shine through her actions. If season 19 emphasized this connection, it would feel like Ty never truly left because a part of him lives on in Lindy every single day. This kind of return would be subtle but incredibly powerful, tying the past to the future and reminding viewers of the unbreakable bond between parent and child. But no matter which version the writers choose, whether dramatic, symbolic, or subtle, the impact of Ty's return would ripple far beyond Amy and Lindy. His reappearance would not just be about shocking the audience. It would be about honoring the years of storytelling that made Heartland such a beloved series. Fans who have stayed loyal for nearly 2 decades would finally see the payoff of their hope. Ty's return, in any form, would prove that love stories don't simply vanish with time. They evolve, they reshape, and they return in unexpected ways. Most importantly, Ty's return would remind Amy of who she once was and how far she has come. She has built her life around survival, resilience, and independence. She has proven to herself and to Lindy that she can stand strong even without Ty by her side. But his presence, whether real or in memory, would remind her that strength and love do not cancel each other out. She could still honor his place in her heart while embracing the future she has created. This tension between past and present is what would make his return so gripping for viewers. Ultimately, Ty Borden's return in season 19 is not just about bringing back a fan favorite. It's about testing the limits of storytelling, about finding new ways to show how love, loss, and family can continue to surprise us. And for Amy and Lindy, it would be a chapter that changes everything, turning their grief into a new kind of hope, and proving that the ties that bind us can never truly be broken. If Ty Borden were to return in season 19, no character would feel the weight of his presence more deeply than Amy Fleming. For years, Amy's journey has been defined by both her love for Ty and her grief after losing him. She was not just his partner. She was his equal, his anchor, and the person who believed in him even when he struggled to believe in himself. When Ty died, Amy's world collapsed. She had to raise Lindy alone, carry the ranch forward, and heal her own broken heart while still helping others heal theirs. Ty's absence reshaped her into a stronger, more independent version of herself. But with his return, everything Amy thought she knew about love, loss, and moving on would be tested in ways she could never have prepared for. The first wave Amy would feel is disbelief. Imagine seeing the man you buried, the man you cried for, standing in front of you again. Every fiber of Amy's being would resist the idea that this was real. Was it a dream? A cruel trick of the mind? And if it were real, could she even trust herself to accept it? Her healing journey had been painful but necessary, and to suddenly undo it would not come without fear. For Amy, Ty's return would not just be a miracle, it would be a storm of emotions that might shatter her sense of stability. Beyond disbelief, Amy would wrestle with anger. As much as she loved Ty, she would have to ask, where were you all these years? If his return were literal, if he had somehow survived but been kept away, Amy would demand answers. Why did she have to raise Lindy alone? Why did she have to endure years of grief when he could have been by her side? Her love for him would not erase the pain of abandonment. This conflict, love and anger, joy and sorrow colliding, would create some of the most powerful drama the show has ever seen. But underneath all the confusion, one truth would rise to the surface. Amy still loves Ty. That love, tested by time, grief, and survival, would not simply vanish. Instead, his return would force her to rediscover it. Would she welcome him back with open arms? Or would she struggle to reconcile the woman she has become with the man she once loved? This is where Amy's story would truly shine. She is no longer the young woman who leaned on Ty for strength. She is now a mother, a leader, and someone who has learned to stand on her own. The question is not just whether Ty has returned, it is whether Amy can find a place for him in the new life she has built. Another layer to consider is how Amy's role as Lindy's mother would complicate her feelings. Every choice she makes now carries the weight of responsibility. If Ty returns, how would she explain it to her daughter? Would she open her heart again, risking the chance that Ty could leave them once more? Or would she guard herself, protecting Lindy from the same heartbreak Amy endured? This tension between love and protection would give Amy some of the richest character development the series has ever offered. Symbolically, Ty's return would also allow Amy to confront the grief she has carried for so long. Even if he returned only in dreams, visions, or memories, those moments would give Amy a chance to say what she never had the chance to before. I love you. I forgive you. And I'll carry you with me always. These words, spoken or unspoken, would help Amy reach a place of closure and peace that she has been seeking since season 14. His return could heal wounds that time alone could not. At the heart of Amy's journey with Ty's return is a profound truth. Love is never simple. It changes, evolves, and sometimes returns in unexpected ways. If season 19 dared to bring Ty back, Amy's story would remind us that healing does not mean forgetting. Moving forward does not mean erasing the past. And love, even when broken by loss, can still find its way back into the light. For fans, watching Amy navigate this storm would be both heartbreaking and inspiring. It would show us a woman torn between the life she built and the love she thought she lost forever. And no matter the outcome, one thing would be clear. Amy's strength is not in choosing one path over another. It is in her ability to carry love, grief, and hope all at once and still stand tall for herself, her family, and her daughter. For Lindy Borden, the return of her father in season 19 would be nothing short of life-changing. Unlike Amy, Jack, or the rest of the family, Lindy does not carry direct memories of Ty. Her entire understanding of him has been shaped through photographs, stories told at the dinner table, and the quiet moments when Amy's voice softened as she spoke about the man who once stood beside her. To Lindy, Ty has always been more of a legend than a living presence, of figure she admires but never truly knew. His return, whether real or symbolic, would transform her identity and the way she sees her own life story. At first, Lindy's reaction would likely be confusion. For a child, the idea of someone being gone forever is already difficult to grasp. She has grown up believing her father is a part of the past, someone she could never meet, yet always feel. To suddenly see him standing there would challenge everything she thought she knew. She might ask Amy, "Is this really my dad? How can he be here if he was gone?" These innocent yet profound questions would highlight the deep emotional complexity of Ty's return. It would not simply be about joy, it would be about Lindy trying to make sense of a story that, until now, had been complete in her mind. Beyond the confusion, there would be wonder. For Lindy, meeting her father for the first time in memory would be magical. The man she had only known through bedtime stories and family photos would suddenly become real. His voice, his smile, the way he looks at her with pride. This would be a deeply emotional moment for both father and daughter, one that fans of the show would carry in their hearts forever. Imagine Lindy asking him about the horses, or showing him how much she's learned about the ranch. The bond between them could grow quickly, because even though they were separated by time, the connection of blood and love would be undeniable. Yet, alongside the magic, there would also be challenges. For Lindy, Ty's presence could bring feelings of uncertainty about her own identity. She might wonder if she has lived up to the father she never knew, or if she can build a relationship with him without betraying the bond she already shares with Amy, Jack, and the rest of her family. Ty's return could raise questions she never thought to ask. Why did you leave? Why weren't you here? Even if Ty's absence wasn't by choice, Lindy would still feel the impact of those missing years. This emotional conflict love mixed with hurt would give her character new depth and allow the audience to see her growing maturity. Another layer too. Lindy's journey is the way Ty's return would affect her sense of family. Until now, her family structure has been built around Amy as both mother and father figure, with Jack and others stepping in as role models. If Ty came back, Lindy's entire idea of family would expand. She would no longer just be Amy's daughter, she would be Ty's daughter too. And that title carries a legacy. Lindy might begin to see herself as a bridge between past and future. Someone who can carry forward the spirit of her father while still embracing the life she has known without him. Even in a symbolic sense, if Ty appeared in dreams, visions, or lessons passed down, Lindy would be changed forever. To have even a glimpse of her father, to hear words of encouragement or wisdom, would fill a gap she may not have realized existed. Imagine her dreaming of Ty teaching her how to ride, or hearing his voice in a moment of fear, reminding her to be brave. These experiences would not just comfort Lindy. They would shape the way she grows into her own person. She would carry her father's values with her into adulthood, giving her strength and a clearer sense of identity. Ultimately, Ty's return would give Lindy what every child deserves, a connection to both parents. It would not erase the struggles Amy faced or the life Lindy built without him, but it would add a missing piece to her heart. For fans, seeing Lindy discover her father, whether through reality or memory, would be one of the most powerful and emotional arcs in Heartland history. It would remind us that children carry the dreams of their parents. And even when life takes unexpected turns, love has a way of finding its path back to them. For Lindy, Ty's return is not simply about gaining a father. It is about gaining a part of herself she never knew was missing. And in doing so, she would step into her future with a stronger sense of who she is, where she came from, and how much love surrounds her past, present, and always.